Welcome to the Spit Take Podcast. My name is Sam, and joining me as always are Adam.
Hey.
And Rick.
The Otter Assassin.
And we have our special guest today, Steph.
Hi, guys.
Today we'll be talking about the latest entertainment news as well as our favorite rom-coms. Adam, introduce us to Steph.
So Steph is my big sister, partner in crime. We grew up together. She is a real estate agent in Chicago, and we want to say thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm probably one of your 10 avid listeners. So
Yep. You definitely are.
Yep. Happy to be here. Happy to, finally get my say in, even though I probably won't know what you guys are talking about half the time, but I'm going to do my best.
Steph is not a nerd like the rest of us. Most of the things we're going to talk about, she probably doesn't have any clue on, but that's why we're talking about rom-com stakes. That's something she will actually know something about versus DC animated comics from our last episode.
Yeah,
So,
I tuned out on that one.
Yeah, well, you know what? I even make a little speech that you should listen to it and enjoy it because you might actually like the movies. So now you have to fucking watch them.
Yeah, it's debatable.
All right, whatever. Well, let's get into some news. Rick, what do we got going on today?
Well, first things first, Super Bowl is, well, by the time this is released, it will be this weekend. So we all know Adam loves the Super Bowl and NFL and NFL teams.
It's my favorite.
I think I tagged him in a meme recently. Who was it? Who was in the meme?
I don't remember. I didn't see it.
But he's like wearing an NFL hat, and he goes, "I'm a big fan of the NFL. You know what my favorite team is?" And it said NFL on. He goes, "The NFL." So it's going to be the 49ers, and it's going to be the the Kansas City Chiefs. No, Dallas Cowboys don't know what a Super Bowl is anymore. They once did.
No, they don't.
And I'm saying this as a Bears fan.
That's why my glass is from 1972, okay?
Yeah. I'm saying this as a diehard Bears fan, 1985, baby. So, based on mascots, the Chiefs and the 49ers, Adam, who is your favorite? Do you like?
I can't believe you remember
Americans,
that.
Or do you like people who dig for gold, Adam?
So that is, yeah.
The question is, do you prefer ketchup and mustard or ketchup and mayonnaise?
Listen,
Ooh.
Rick is 100% accurate on how I pick any team to win. And if you're looking at the Chiefs versus the 49ers, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. The Indians are just strategically better at doing everything. I'm sorry, Native Americans. We are politically correct on this show. The Native Americans are a little bit better.
That's why I didn't say Indians.
I don't even know what a 49er is.
I am so embarrassed to be related to you at this point.
Do you not know what a 49er is?
No, I have no idea. It's an arbitrary number to me.
Would you like me to go into the history? Because the gold rush actually started in 1948.
That's what I thought it was the miners. I zoned out a little bit already. I'm sorry. But
I'm going to go Team Gold Digger.
Well, of course you would.
That a girl.
You are one. So, but listen, look, I will watch the Super Bowl because they are having a Deadpool 3 commercial that will be on there. It's going to be the first Deadpool 3 commercial, first Deadpool 3 trailer that we've seen. And that is probably my number one reason for watching the Super Bowl this year.
So we got Adam with the Chiefs, Steph with the 49ers. Sam, who you got?
Well, I just want to say Adam's just excited because he saw Ryan Reynolds' post about Deadpool 3 where it was just a close-up of Deadpool's junk. That's all he's looking forward to.
He's a handsome man.
Okay, so Adam picks Deadpool's junk. Okay. Sam,
so
who you got?
I'm personally rooting for a freak natural disaster to hit just that stadium. Because beyond that, I could not care less about the Super Bowl. I hope Taylor Swift's team loses.
I mean, it's the same thing as it was 4 years ago.
Yep.
So
Yes.
just with Taylor Swift.
I know Sam, if he's a Cowboys fan, he can't pick the 49ers. Because a Cowboys fan can't pick the 49ers, first and foremost.
Why? Because the last time the Cowboys were relevant, the 49ers weren't. So I don't care about the 49ers.
Cowboys and 49ers got a long-standing rivalry.
Well, a Cowboy could beat a 49er. We know that. So.
That's true. I mean, what's he going to do? Throw his pickaxe at him? I mean,
the Cowboy's going to bring out a 6-shooter, pop off a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
You know what? Cowboys and Indians, we all know that rivalry right there. That would be an interesting game because who would win? Won. We don't know.
Cowboys won, though.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Well, then we know the answer to that one.
Yeah. And I'm personally, I am with. I can't do the Taylor Swift. My wife cannot stop playing the bullshit. I can't do it anymore. Here's the thing, and we're doing romance freaking movies tonight. I just like don't care about who people have sex with and stuff. And everybody who tells me who Taylor Swift ever had sex with is evil and is a horrible person. So everybody who works with NBC, CBS, Fox, that keeps showing me Taylor Swift's face every 5 fucking seconds just because she's watching the dude she's fucking play football, they're fucking evil, okay? So I'm picking the 49ers, long story short.
I'm glad you finally got a chance to breathe.
I wish you guys could see when I mark clips, because it's always at the start of when Rick goes on a rant, because I just don't know what's about to happen.
Yep.
I don't see.
I work in a Chiefs bar as well. I should say that once a week, sometimes, and I still am rooting for the 49ers.
I would if I worked in a Chiefs bar. They got to be as annoying as freaking, what's her name? Brittany Mahomes? Jeez.
What team does this Taylor Swift guy play on?
Kansas City.
No.
Mr. Swift.
No.
Mr. Swift.
Who's banging
T-Swift?
everybody.
He sounds fast.
Banging everybody Taylor Swift's ever banged.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what just happened there. That was.
I don't know either. But I will say I do like the Kelsey brothers. If you have not listened to their podcast, you should, because it's actually really funny.
But ours is better, right?
Some funny clips on it.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, yours is
I'm saying
so
that
much better.
because they got to tell me everybody Taylor Swift ever banged.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to draw a blueprint for you.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, let's.
I'll start explaining things for you. I'll start writing things out for you so you understand jokes and stuff. But it's always funnier if you explain it.
Yeah,
that's
the mark of a truly good joke, is having to explain your joke.
I'm going on tour, folks. I'm going to break down all my jokes. Right after my joke, I'm going to have my blueprint out.
Well, let's jump into something else then. I think that's a good segue right there. The next piece of news is a little sad, and we just found this out, 6-7 hours ago? Carl Weathers died last night in his sleep. Terrible. And he is somebody that we've brought up on at least 2, if not 3 other podcast episodes, because we're a huge fan of his. He's been in such great movies. Of course, the classic, probably his first big role being Rocky, playing Apollo Creed. But he was also in Predator. He was in Happy Gilmore. He was in The Mandalorian. And it was just very sad to see him go, because the guy's a legend. So, I don't know. I feel like there's just so much that can be said about him. And especially, with Rocky, Rocky came out after, all the civil rights stuff and everything, but still it was a different time. And he was an icon. He was an icon for a lot of people. And he was one of the great black actors of his time.
He, right after John Candy, he's one of my favorites. I put up on, Twitter and Facebook, and I put it on the Spit Take Facebook page to my tweet or my X, whatever you call it. But I made sure to put on the Arrested Development scene where he's got the bone. He's like, there's still a little bit of meat on that. Put
That's
a little
classic.
broth in there, and you got yourself a stew. That is one of the funniest lines of like anybody, and I always have that in the back of my head. And him as Chubbs too, and Happy Gilmore, like not only can he do action and Rocky and the Predator, by the way, Apollo Creed, full preparation. There's no way Sylvester Stallone will ever beat Apollo Creed. Never in a million years. Like I said, that was a tortoise and the hare story when we talked about that. If Apollo Creed was paying attention and not jacking around, there's no way, not a chance Rocky beats Apollo Creed. But not only did he bring us action, he brought us pure comedy too. One of the greats to me.
I think Sylvester Stallone could beat him now.
I think so. He would probably win that fight.
I don't think so. I think
easily.
Zombie Apollo Creed would beat the shit out of live Sylvester Stallone, motherfucker.
Adam.
Yeah.
Range 15. Tim Kennedy versus Zombie Danny Trejo.
Oh, God. I love that scene. So good. Hurry up, guys. We want snacks.
Sorry, that's
a great movie.
Brian just automatically went there. Sorry about that.
There's zero people that get that, because I'm sure nobody's watched Range 15.
No, just some of our veteran listeners. But in any case, sad day again. Carl Weathers, you're going to be missed, buddy.
Cheers to Carl Weathers.
Cheers. And Steph's sitting there like, who the fuck is Carl Weathers?
I know Happy Gilmore. Like, as I told you before we got on here, I've never seen Rocky, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So Carl Weathers was Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I know that.
His mentor, yeah.
I
He's
knew that part.
Ate off by the crocodile.
Yeah, that part I knew. It just, the rest of it is like, no.
Yeah.
Let's just keep explaining who Chubbs was to her.
Yeah. But I mean, he was the guy. Remember, he takes him over to the mini golf course.
He's like, it's all in the hip. Come on, baby.
And then he made another appearance as Chubbs in Little Nicky.
Yeah, he was in Little Nicky too.
He was. Yep. He was in heaven.
Which I've sadly seen more than one time. And
he was in a couple of Adam Sandler movies. I like that him and Adam Sandler are friends. That's awesome.
No.
I don't know why that's awesome. That's just awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he I saw Little Nicky a lot of times, and it's actually a good movie.
Mandalorian.
He was in the Mandalorian. Great show.
Why don't you know that stuff?
Yeah,
I admittedly have never watched a full Star Wars movie.
It's
Jesus
a show.
Christ.
She doesn't even know it's a show.
Rocky, never watched Star Wars. What do you do? Who invited her?
What are you doing here?
Why are you here? Why aren't you in like Florida on a $4 million yacht?
Tampa Bay.
Because I'm doing a podcast with you guys. And I'm watching cats, okay?
Aren't you glad you made that decision?
Please stay. We need your friends and followers on Facebook.
I have a lot of those. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Have they seen Star Wars?
I'm sure they have. I'm like the only one in our family who never got into it. Like, I don't know. Our family, our brother and our sister do this weird, like what is it? The fourth Be With You party, or they used to when everybody lived here. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah.
She's like,
I was busy having sex, okay?
She's like the only one normal over there. She's like, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking nerds?
So I think we found the clip for the intro to this podcast.
So I'll mark it just in case, but I don't remember this party, and I kind of feel sad now because I feel like I was not invited to a Star Wars party at my own house.
It was like every fucking year they did this nerd party.
Do they really? I don't.
Yes, and they
I don't
would
think I
dress
ever went.
up and wear like nerd stuff. I don't know.
I think
Kim,
they only did it while you were in Afghanistan, right?
They might have. Like, I
no,
mean,
this was like it was
I've not been
between us
invited
and
to this
Stormy.
party.
They're like, Adam will nerd it up.
I come and be like, you guys want to know some trivia?
That's the opening clip.
I think there were like lightsabers and stuff.
That sound. I mean, like, I'm not denying that happened. That sounds like something they would do, but I don't remember ever going to one of those parties.
Well, I mean, I don't. Well, I know I wasn't invited, but I don't think we were invited because we were older.
Maybe,
Yeah.
and we probably didn't get into all that, like, all that weird stuff. Like, I love the movies, don't get me wrong, and I can tell you just about every detail about it. I can name just about every vehicle in the goddamn movies and shows, but, like, am I going to have a whole party dedicated to Star Wars? No.
But we
I mean,
should
you're-
have a May the 4th episode, though.
Your daughter was born on May the 4th.
She was.
It's a
She was a Star
Saturday.
Wars baby.
Also embarrassing, but can't control that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of did.
Yeah, I guess.
We kinda did.
And he named her Ray.
And we named her Ray.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
what?
embarrassing, though.
What does that have to do with Star Wars?
That was unintentional, though. Like, I didn't really put those together.
I wouldn't
She
brag
w-
about that one.
We didn't know she was going to be born on May 4th. That was not the original date. So,
Wait,
it
does her
just
name
happened.
have to do with it?
Yeah, there was
It's
a
a Star
character
Wars
named
character.
Ray. Yeah, there was a character named Ray in the sequel trilogy,
God
played
damn
by
it.
Daisy Ridley.
How
And
So-
it was a not great trilogy.
No,
But to be fair, that's not your daughter's name. That's just a
No,
shortened
that's a
version of
nickname.
her name.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's more a Republican president.
yeah, agreed. One of the best Republican presidents ever.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
I
What's
didn't know
up
if
with
that's
that?
what the intention was.
Well, yeah. Well, let's move on to the next thing because I know how we
But we're in
started
a
talking.
podcast.
You know what? Yeah, we started talking about how, and before we did this, we were like, oh, we don't have to spend that much time on news. We're 20 minutes in and we've covered 2 out of 5 news topics.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
covered
We'll
2.
cut this up. We'll make this like 4 episodes. We're fine.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the Ghostbusters trailer. I did send that one over to Steph, so she's at least seen the trailer, even if she doesn't know much about Ghostbusters. New Ghostbuster trailer released this week on Tuesday. It is awesome. I am so excited to go see it. That's time for anybody else to jump in, give their opinion.
Simer's in it. Fucking Simer's in it, and
Slimer's-
that's fucking cool. And
Bill
fucking
Murray.
and Pat's what's it, Janine
Annie
is
Potts,
like, what
yeah.
do you want? And that's
Like
cool.
the
And,
classic callback.
what's his name? The bad guy,
Walter Peck.
Peck. Peck's an asshole.
Yeah.
No, it's a throwback, dude. It's a throwback, and the fucking monster looks like an asshole, and it looks fucking cool. I'm excited.
I'm really excited about it. Like, as I was watching the trailer, it looks like they are bringing some callbacks in, but they're doing something that's very new, which is excellent. The monster looks pretty scary. It looks like there's something to do with a cursed object. It looks like it's just going to be tons of fun. I have a theory that Walter Peck is actually going to end up being a good guy at the end of it, and actually supporting the Ghostbusters. This is a classic thing they do with some of the, not, I guess, soft reboots, we'll call it. But some of these soft reboots they do is they give a redemption arc to some of the people who are considered villains in these 80s movies. So I could see Walter Peck at the end of this whole thing having a whole redemption, and all of a sudden he's an advocate for the Ghostbusters and on their side.
So wait, wasn't Walter Peck with the EPA?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he prefer the Earth start to cool instead of warming up?
I don't know. I don't know if it goes into that. I mean, we don't know much other than he's trying to shut down the Ghostbusters again. But that's prior
we don't know
to
if that's the same reason.
right. And
as
this is all
far
prior
as-
to the New York freezing.
I could certainly foresee some, climate change stuff being thrown into this movie. especially with the return of
Don't
the
say
EPA,
that.
man.
Don't say that.
Yeah,
Stop
don't ruin Ghostbusters.
Stop it.
Hey,
Because
Let me
they
hope.
did not.
you two are out here slobbing the knob on Ghostbusters. Somebody's got to bring you
Yes.
back down and meet your expectations, because I feel
But
like
they
y'all are
didn't-
waiting for it to be a reiteration of the
But if
original
they didn't do
Ghostbusters.
it with the first one,
I hope it is.
No,
I don't think they did it with the first one, right?
no, I don't remember
Not
them
that I've
doing
seen.
anything. They weren't giving any kind of political message or anything in the first one.
There were political messages. They weren't outright.
Wait. When we say the first one, are we
it's-
talking about the first one, like Afterlife, the recent one that came out,
The one like
No.
3
or
or
are we
4 years
talking
ago?
about 1984 Ghostbusters?
84?
No,
84
Afterlife.
Ghostbusters. Okay, I was talking Afterlife.
Afterlife,
Oh, okay.
the new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, there was no real like political message in there or anything. But if you
Not
want to
that
go
I
back,
can see.
if you want to go back to the 1984 Ghostbusters, I'm going to post a crack.com video to you guys that talks all about how the Ghostbusters were basically an analogy for the Tea Party. They make some
But-
compelling arguments.
I think the way they did.
And I'm not going to
political
tell their jokes
messages-
because I'm not a thief. I'm not plagiarizing that. I will send you guys the video though.
The way they did political messages back then was just like entertaining. It was like,
Yes.
here's the conservative rich guy. And
Yeah.
it was like they made it into an entertaining story. The way
Yeah.
they do it now is like, here's a message, and then they just like slap you in the face with a giant fucking dildo. And
I mean, that's my concern. Is
Mhm.
we have writers that understand how to put some nuance into the movie. If you're gonna make a political statement, put some nuance into it. Don't make it slapping you across the face with it. I'm honestly really hoping the movie is good. I'm hoping that it's not some climate change thing going into this movie. I'm hoping it's just a fun ghost movie, but we'll see.
Well, with Jason Reitman still producing and still overseeing everything, and this is his father's legacy, and Jason Reitman does a great job storytelling and making sure that the product that comes out has a clear message, but his messages tend to not be on that political spectrum there. He's a very good storyteller, and I think that him trying to protect his father's legacy, he's going to keep the bullshit away from it. He's going to be like, we're not trying to be preachy. We're not trying to, and I'm putting a lot of faith in that.
From it is they were trying. That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
They were trying to make it faithful to the original movies.
they were trying to make a movie about a bunch of people who go and bust ghosts.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, the trailer, it looked really good. I think what sold me was the minute I saw Paul Rudd climb onto my screen, and I was like, I'm going to see it. I don't care if everybody rates it as a 1% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. I'm going to go because it's got Paul Rudd, and Paul Rudd is fucking funny, and he's one of the most handsome men in America. So I will go.
I'd bang.
he's one of the funniest men too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
what is he,
Paul Rudd.
53 now?
And
Nobody
in a
knows.
28-year-old's body.
Yeah, nobody knows. He doesn't age. He is beautiful. He looks the same as he did in
Timeless.
Friends as he does now.
Timeless. Yep. So,
All
but
right,
yeah, I
you're
mean,
always welcome to come on the podcast.
yeah. If you're ever
Only
in
if I'm
town,
here, though.
all
we'll
right.
get
If you're
stuff
ever in
out there.
town, we'd love to buy you dinner. But yeah, no, the Ghostbusters movie looks fantastic. There's a lot of different things in there that are very exciting. The one thing I want to see them do different that happens in every single movie, and for some reason always bothers me, is they only actually ever bust one ghost in the movies. And I'm not joking. Like that's a real thing. I think in Ghostbusters 2, they had kind of a montage of them catching a couple more ghosts. But like when you think about it, so in the first one, the only ghost that they actually are shown catching was Slimer. And that was, and a lot of that I understand because they had 4 months to make this movie, basically. And they were on a time constraint. They had almost no budget. Like it was insane that this movie even got made. Ghostbusters 2, they go up against the two ghosts in the courtroom and like have that little battle with them and everything. But then after that, all the other ghosts they catch are montage. Moving into Afterlife, the only ghost they catch is I forget its name. Muncher. They catch Muncher, before they get arrested and everything. But that's the only ghost they catch. And then, I mean, technically, I guess they get Gozer in the end. I don't know. Spoiler. But in any case, they only bust one ghost in every movie. And then they just allude to the fact that they're doing more, which maybe is why their stories are so good, is that they're not just trying to put all of it into action. But I would like to see in this one them, even if it is in a little bit longer of a montage, like actually going after ghosts and doing what they do best. So that's my only complaint about Ghostbusters, is there's not enough ghost busting.
Well, they brought back the library ghost I saw in the trailer, which terrified me in the first movie.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, how that's going to play out with Bill Murray's character coming back. Like, is it going to be like right? It was Bill Murray that saw her.
Oh, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis.
They all saw her.
Yeah. So they all got chased out of the library by her in the first movie. Now, that actually brings up a good point, because the Ghostbusters video game that came out in 2012 was technically the third movie. It was the script they wrote for the third movie, but they had all gotten too old at that point. So they only did the voices for it and turned it into a video game that allowed you to play as a Ghostbuster recruit, helping them out and everything. And the game was fantastic. The storyline was great. And they outwardly said this was canon. When the game came out, they're like, this is the third movie. This is what we intended to do. But in that game, you catch the library ghost. So now them bringing back the library ghost, does it officially make the game not canon anymore? Don't know.
Idea.
I don't know, but
well, so did they not end up releasing all the ghosts in the first movie? Oh, that would be first movie, not third movie. So yeah, I don't know. Something could have happened. I was excited to see Ernie Hudson.
Yeah. And he's excited to do more Ghostbusters movies. It sounds like he's here to stay, and he'll keep doing them until the day he dies. So,
yeah, and he's been interviewed, and he shows up like everywhere wearing his Ghostbusters uniform and stuff. And he says he loves being a Ghostbuster, and he will do it till he dies. Like, he will, like, I don't know. And it's weird because he's the guy that kind of just showed up later, too.
But his character in the movie was fantastic. He just showed up. He was like, I need a job. I don't care if ghosts are real or not.
Right.
Pay me.
But he's the most proud of that character. It's I don't know. When I see somebody that's proud like that, and just as much of a nerd as a fan like me, it's just adorable.
No.
Well, and the other side of that is Ernie Hudson showing up later was because Eddie Murphy was originally supposed to be Winston Zeddemore. Eddie Murphy decided he didn't want to do the part. They hired Ernie Hudson to play the part, and they cut most of his screen time out. And he was so pissed about it that he almost didn't come back for Ghostbusters 2, but Bill Murray convinced him, and he's like, no, what they did to you was wrong. You need to come back and do this movie with us. It's not the Ghostbusters without you. And basically pled this case to him. And Ernie Hudson was talking about that in an interview. And he's like, Bill Murray is the only reason that I was in Ghostbusters 2. He's like, because the studio pissed me off so much, I almost didn't do it. And he's like, and now, like, you know, all the screen time I got, everything brought me to where I am now. So that was a really cool story of Bill Murray just being a stand-up guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't hear any of that. I didn't see any of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So really cool stuff from that. And I could talk about Ghostbusters all day because you guys are clearly seeing that. I know just about every behind-the-scenes detail of that movie. But anything else?
No, Adam.
Okay. All right, Rick, you want to talk about this next one?
Yeah. Suicide Squad. There's a lot of complaints about it, and it's not just what has
the game.
Some of the story arc of the game now. I guess it's the gameplay. There's a lot of complaints about the gameplay. But some of the story of the game, like, I guess it's Suicide Squad. What is it called? Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
Yeah. Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. Yeah.
And there's a part of it where Captain Boomerang, he pisses on Flash's corpse, Batman, and it's the Batman from the Arkham games, and his fate is being executed, I believe by Harley Quinn. And this is Kevin Conroy's last time voicing Batman because he died recently. And then WindowsCentral.com, I seen this today, reports that searches for Suicide Squad refund is showing a surge, that there's a 791% following, that the game's early access launch, there's a disaster that there is, well, it's a 791% refund surge. Sorry, I was
trying to read it while you were talking.
Enunciating it wrong.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are complaining about the gameplay because I guess the gameplay is not like the Arkham games. They're saying it's like the opposite of the Arkham games. But there's a big backlash about how Batman's being treated in this. And I guess even though Flash dies, Batman dies, it's actually poor that it's actually not the whole Justice League that's getting killed. And then they're changing some of the Justice League. I know they said something about Poison Ivy's not this sex symbol female, it's actually a kid now or something like that. And that was kind of a weird change.
Well, Poison Ivy was killed in Arkham Knight.
So it's like a kid now, and somebody was saying like they felt weird about it because usually it's a female, and that's like a sex symbol to them. I don't know. I didn't see it. I was kind of listening to them talk while I was in the shower. And so I know Adam said he's gonna buy it and play it anyways. I'm interested I'm always interested in hearing the opposite view. I'm thinking about buying it just so, because I'm doing a podcast like this, I should have my own opinion instead of going other people's opinion. But in my own view, I'd usually say, well, they're going to treat Batman like this, I'm not going to spend my money on it. But at the same time, like I said, if I'm going to prejudge, if I'm going to announce this to the world, maybe I should buy it and play it myself before I should judge it. So I'm not going to put out a judgment right now. What are your thoughts, Adam?
So I've been reading up on that a little bit since you were kind of sending me some things about it. I have a feeling the game plays a lot more like Gotham Knights than it does any of the Arkham Asylum games. But the Batman thing in there, I was reading about that, and Kevin Conroy did sign off on all this. This wasn't done post-death. That wasn't a decision they made. He read the script. He liked the script. He thought it was a fitting ending for Batman. And he was like, that's how I want my Arkham character to go out. So I was reading some things about like him talking with the studio about that. So, as much as people want to say, hey, this was a shitty way to end Kevin Conroy's, it was something where he said, hey, you know what? I like this. I like this storyline. So go with it. He didn't put up any objection to it. And I think if they had known he was going to die prior to, basically writing the whole story and doing all of this, it might have turned out different in their minds. But, and they could have, done something different. I don't know. But the game itself looks like it's just kind of mayhem and fun. It gives me kind of the feeling of the Avengers game that they had, similarly. And I never really played the game, but some of the gameplay I've watched, it's very, there's kind of like similarities to it. Not the same, but similarities to it. And I really do like the idea of teaming up with 3 of your friends, running around Gotham City, and fighting against the Justice League. It's something that's not really been done before. The only games they've really had with the Justice League, you played as the Justice League, as the good guys. So it's an interesting concept. Some of the cutscenes I've seen were pretty funny. The dialogue is really good. It's really well written. And it gives you that Suicide Squad feeling that you kind of want. And I haven't played the game yet either, so I might be hyping it up to myself. And just like Rick said, until I play it, I may get this game, play it, and be like, this is god awful. I don't know yet, but I am looking forward to eventually getting that and seeing what it's like.
Yeah, and you're right, Adam. I think you're right about that. Like, it's like outrage to be outraged because, and I was outraged too at first, but then I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of like it. That's kind of executed. Fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Like, I kind of like a bad guy just as executes the good guy that everybody loves. I kind of like that, first of all. But also, like, how can anybody know Kevin Conroy was going to die?
No, they wrote the story and they probably put in thousands of hours of animation into that scene already before he even passed.
Right. So, I understand that.
Well, and as far as we knew from Arkham Knight, Batman was already dead. That's what we knew at the end of Arkham Knight. Mm-hmm. Batman died. So him coming back, I don't know how he came back for the Justice League, the Suicide Squad, but he came back and he dies again. That's what we know.
Now, the last group game like that I played was Guardians of the Galaxy. It didn't sell well, but it's a fantastic game. Play that shit. It's fucking good. I played Avengers. I didn't like it that much. I know it's found its own market. I know there are people that are defending Suicide Squad. So there are people that like it. So maybe I might be one of those people. So
yeah,
maybe I'll buy it. I think it came out today. So maybe I'll buy it tomorrow and try it.
Yeah. Cool. Sam, your thoughts?
So I kind of thought it was like an Elseworlds storyline. Initially, that's how I thought of it. I've seen like 60-40 of like to dislike, and it's honestly gone either way. I might even say like 50-50, like to dislike. And I think most of the people have pretty valid issues with it. There's some blue hair posturing to it. To the game, they hired a consultation company to help them out with some stuff that added some blue hair check marks in there. But a lot of that seems like it's nothing. It's a sign in the background or something like that. So I don't personally care. I think it's a bad move on their part to use that stuff, but I also think it's just dumb to complain about it at this point too, because it has no bearing on the game. Now, as it comes to them actually killing the Justice League, I actually saw a TikTok today. The guy's name is One Day at a Time. And he basically pitched how he basically pitched how he would have done it, which was, they kill the Justice League, they get to Brainiac, and Brainiac's like, you killed the Justice League, but you can't even touch me. And they were like, you suck at your job and this sort of stuff. And they were like, yeah, we couldn't even kill the Justice League. And then Superman comes flying through the door and beats the crap out of Brainiac, and Batman comes coming in and everything else. And I thought that would have been a great way to end the game. I haven't played it yet. I want to play it because I've seen too much going both ways to be able to trust anybody's opinion at this point. I think we all need to play it and come back and come up with our own opinions on this, because like I said, there's too much outrage from the one side about stupid things that don't have any bearing on the game itself, and too much just outright love without looking at anything else to the game. So I think before we go too much further with it, we need to actually play it and come up with our own opinions on it. It looks, as far as gameplay to me, it looks kind of like what I've seen looks like a mix of Anthem and the Batman games. But
okay, yeah. Well, you know what? We got a whole Suicide Squad here right now. I mean, we've got Steph as Harley Quinn. We got Rick as King Shark. Sam is obviously Deadshot. And I'm Captain Boomerang. Because I would pee on someone's corpse.
You have.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh,
I haven't. I haven't done that. That's desecration, and we don't approve of that here at Spit Take Podcast.
But I have a very important question. Which iteration of Deadshot am I?
Whatever ones in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
I'm glad I'm not Kite Man.
I like Kite Man. I would be Kite Man. He was so great in Harley Quinn.
I know. I still got to watch that last season.
I know, I do too. But he was so good, and he's getting his own show now too.
Oh God.
I know. But he was he was one of the best parts of the Harley Quinn show.
Mm.
He was so funny.
I'd just rather be Weasel.
Weasel's good too. Oh my God. Kite Man. That was like, what an obscure character to throw into a like an adult, R-rated cartoon about supervillains.
Yeah.
Like, how obscure. But I love it. I love it. And his character was so good, and he had the whole thing going on with Poison Ivy, and he was so goddamn funny. Cool. I think we've said enough about the Justice League, so we'll play it, come back, talk about it, and go from there. And Rick, what's our update on the Vince McMahon sex trial?
Yeah, so last week we talked a little bit about Vince McMahon, just an update on that. Vince McMahon had some sexual assault and trafficking allegations, as we talked about last week. This week, there were some NDAs he's had women sign saying that he's never had sex with them or had any sexual assault or anything, so they couldn't say anything to anybody or go to any media or anything. Well, apparently he did this without any WWE knowledge. He did not pass that through the WWE legal department. Apparently you're supposed to do that. And I don't know why everybody's laughing. This is super serious stuff. I'm completely serial.
We all know when you make somebody sign an NDA that says, I did not have sex with you, I didn't sexually assault you, that you 100% never sexually assaulted them.
Yeah. That's for real. And apparently that's supposed to go through the legal department, and he never sent that through the legal department. And so those aren't legally binding. So all these women that he personally signed an NDA with, not an ND, they can come out. So I don't know if that means women are going to come out or not, but we'll see.
Exciting stuff from the Vince McMahon story. Steph, do you know who Vince McMahon is?
I do. I know about wrestling.
Nice. Good.
Hey, you should be on the next wrestling podcast with Rick.
Uh-huh.
I saw Iron Claw. Not very impressed.
This is a good time for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, Adam from Spit Take Podcast here. If you're enjoying this week's episode and want to relive some of the best moments, make sure to head over to our YouTube page where you can have access to all the funniest and best conversations between me, Rick, and Sam, as well as full-length episodes you may have missed. Just search @SpitTaker or Spit Take Podcast and make sure to subscribe to see all the latest from the Spit Take Podcast crew. Enjoy the rest of the show. All right, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial break. We are moving on to our topic of the day, which is we're going to be talking about some rom-coms. We've got a lot to say about these. We've all picked a few of our favorite ones to kind of go over. And again, this is all in honor of Valentine's Day coming up. I personally have feelings about rom-coms. I think most of the people in rom-coms are terrible monsters. And I don't feel like there was a few that I had to go through to really decide of the ones I like. And I did pick my top 3. And I think they are excellent picks. And but I also see the problems with all of them as well. If I had to say there was anything, and some people are out there like, oh, like, what do you have against rom-coms? Well, listen, everybody in those movies is basically monsters. Okay. If you look at your typical rom-com scenario, it presents a will they, won't they type thing. Well, in this will they, won't they thing, you've got 2 people who are basically torturing each other until somehow they end up together at the end. These people should be enemies and hate each other. I mean, if you look at You've Got Mail, let's start with that one. Okay, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, should be a cute little story about 2 people meeting online. Well, what does Tom Hanks do after he finds out that she's basically his nemesis? He creates all this slander and all this stuff that happens that makes her close down her business, her bookstore. And somehow at the end of all of this, they still get together. Like, that's messed up. That's messed up. They're torturing each other. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Terrible movie. They are so bad to each other. Yeah, they're awful. Okay, so let me start by...
That's such a terrible movie.
It is.
What? It is a great movie.
Let's talk about the premise of this movie. Let's talk about the premise real quick.
Hey, wait, hold on.
What?
That's one of my movies. We got to...
Okay, I'll wait.
Are we there yet?
I'll wait. All right, fine. All right, let's go to everybody's favorite for some reason, Love Actually.
Great movie.
It is not. It is not.
This is going to be a battle royale, buddy.
Everybody in that movie is ostensibly a terrible person. Okay? Let's start with Hugh Grant. Let's start with him. He is Prime Minister. Prime Minister. Or Prime Minister. Yeah. So he's a prime minister. And what does he do? He basically has an affair with his secretary.
He doesn't have an affair. An affair is when you're cheating.
I'm sorry. He doesn't have an affair. He sleeps with his secretary. In any other world, this is basically a scandal waiting to happen.
He didn't sleep with her until after the fact. He tried to say no, but listen, chemistry happens, and he found her.
Sure.
Yeah, chemistry happens, and he found her and went to the same recital, and they fell in love, and she was in love with him, and he stuck up for her.
He's a man in a place of power who used that power to get with his secretary. That's what happened. Now let's move on. Let's talk about Colin Firth. Okay, let's talk about him. He falls in love with his maid, right? After seeing her naked in a swamp. And at the end of this movie, they've never said a goddamn word to each other because she doesn't even speak his language. What is happening there? How is that in any way, they haven't even had a conversation? This is based purely on looks.
No, she was taking care of him, and he appreciated it, and he learned Portuguese for her. I don't know any man that has learned anything for me, let alone another language. I'm lucky if I get flowers half the time.
But imagine if she wasn't this gorgeous looking woman, right? What if she was just this kind of overweight, ugly person? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, looks do matter. I'm not.
But he wouldn't have taken a second glance at her, and he wouldn't have had any connection with her whatsoever. Okay. So Colin Firth, terrible person. Let's move on to Liam Neeson. Okay. Mr. Taken himself. What does he do? He helps his son violate airport security in a jumpy post 9/11 era.
Was it post 9/11?
Yes, it was post 9/11. So his son's like, oh, I got to go tell this girl. And this kid's fucking 9 years old. And he's like, I go tell this girl I love her. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. And Liam Neeson's like, oh, jump off my back, go through security, break through the airport security. These two should now be on a no-fly list for the rest of their lives.
Okay. But Liam Neeson just lost his wife and still believes in love and wanted his son to feel that same way that he felt about his wife. So of course he's going to go to extremes. He's grieving over his dead wife.
So you can support this. So you can just violate TSA security to do this?
Well, I'm also questioning how well TSA was run at that airport if that little kid was able to get through.
That little kid would have probably been shot. Okay, let's put it that way. All right.
Also, it's Liam Neeson. Who's going to stop Liam Neeson?
Now, let's get to my favorite. Andrew Garfield. Okay, let's talk about Andrew Garfield and his weird love triangle, whatever. I just listen. Okay, Andrew Garfield in that movie, you know what he does? You know what? You tell me. Tell me what he does, Steph. What does he do? Go ahead. I'll wait.
Which one was he?
Okay, fine. I'll tell you what he does. He is basically in love with his best friend's fiance slash wife.
Okay. Hold on. Like, yeah, it's kind of fucked
defend
up.
this monster. Go ahead, do it.
Listen. He had feelings. Okay, was it right? No. Should he have done it? Probably not. But like, I don't know. He had to get it out, and now like they know nothing's gonna happen. Would I feel weird about it? Absolutely. But like, I don't know. I can't defend that one.
But this is the problem with rom-coms, okay? The only reason that any of this is successful or okay is because it's reciprocated, okay? So imagine you're a female, okay? I assume some guy comes up to your door. You don't even know who this guy is, or maybe you know what? Maybe he is your fiance or husband's best friend, okay? But say he's like not good looking. You're like, dude, I don't even like you. And he shows up and starts holding his cue cards. And you're like, oh, okay, what the fuck? Like, okay, it's weird. But the only reason that it's okay is because it's reciprocated in the movie. If it was never reciprocated, this is weird, creepy stalker behavior. And go back before that. Where they're at the wedding and he's filming her. He's just filming her. Like there's a whole wedding going on where he could be trying to sleep with a bridesmaid. And all he's doing is just filming this woman. He's filming her the whole time. And it's like, dude.
But is there a backstory? Like maybe they had something previously and then she left him for his best friend. We don't know.
They pointed out in the movie that he has never said a word to her in their goddamn life. Okay. So this guy is a creepy weirdo stalker who shows up with cards and she goes out and kisses him, which makes her even worse. She's married. She should have been like, hey man, like your best friend's like showing up at our house with cards. It's getting weird. Okay. Like, yeah,
okay, I can see where he's a horrible human in this.
They're all horrible.
No, they're not all horrible. Like, I still think the prime minister, not the president, right? The prime minister. I think that's a great story. And the one where she was taking care of her brother and she fell in love with her coworker. They're not horrible people. The porn stars, not horrible people. They fell in love on set. Like, was it unconventional? Yeah, but like none of them are horrible people. So you just singled out like 3 people. And that's it.
Okay, the porn stars, I'll give you. That one's kind of okay by me. You know what? If you're going to show up to work every day and fuck your coworker, of course you're going to fall in love. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I mean, I assume. I've never done that. But I would assume that that's something that would happen. And I feel like I'm forgetting one. I am forgetting one. The guy who's like, I just want to get laid. He's like, I'm going to go to America because American women like British guys. And where does he go? Where does he go, Steph? Wisconsin. And there's 3 beautiful women there. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
Yeah, those women don't exist.
Those women do not exist in Wisconsin. I apologize, Wisconsin. You've just been spit taked. But spit took.
Wisconsin isn't Oklahoma, okay?
Yeah. Listen, these women like that are not there, and they're definitely not trying to have a threesome with some weird British foreigner, okay? Like, everybody in Love Actually is terrible. That's my take on it. And I will write a blog to back this up with evidence of cases where these things happen and they turn the other way.
Okay, but here's the thing. The Wisconsin one, like, women do love an accent. So him going to Wisconsin where really there's not a whole lot going on, they hear a British guy, they're like, oh, fuck yeah. Now, was he going to have an orgy with them? Absolutely not in real life. But it's like, it's believable to me.
They say things like Murgy.
Hey, hold on. I forgot one. My boy, Alan Rickman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that crushed me. Well, but what I will say, so Leah Thompson, no, wait, what's her name? The maker. I'm so bad with names.
I don't remember.
She's
the wife. We'll call her the wife.
I know, but she's famous.
She is.
Anyway, Emma
Thompson, yes.
Emma Thompson.
Okay, go continue.
So I read something. She was actually going through like a divorce or something where she had gotten cheated on. So all those emotions were real. So she was feeling that in the movie, which I thought was awesome. But like Alan Rickman going after a secretary, yes, but nothing actually happened between them.
Nothing actually happened between them, but like he was buying her gifts and stuff. Like he's clearly emotionally cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
She finds out. This whole thing goes, and you know what? Even what's his name? Rowan Atkinson. He's an asshole too, but not in the actual movie. In the original draft of the movie, where he was an angel who was supposed to be tugging on the heartstrings of all of the people here, and basically making these things happen, taking away their free will. Fuck that guy too. Whole movie's bad. The writing's bad. Mr. Bean.
Whatever. I still love the movie. I will watch it every year.
It's a bad movie. You're a basic bitch.
By the way, you can find our blogs on our website, spitttakers.wixsite.com/spittake-take.
But I'm done ranting about how terrible rom-coms really are. Like I said, I found 3 of the best ones, arguably, that you can do. But I've talked enough. Rick and Sam have been sitting by. Sam, you go first.
For also to piggyback on the Rick, you could also watch this podcast live for a limited amount of time on YouTube. I think Rick just killed it. But yeah, so
I turned off the comments.
All right, so one of my favorite rom-coms is The Ugly Truth. Mainly, I like Gerard Butler. I think he plays a great role in this movie, opening up the frigid bitch, getting her to not be quite so frigid and not be quite as much of a bitch. But no, I think it's a good movie. It's certainly hokey, but that's all rom-coms. They're none of them great masterpieces of cinema. But I don't know. I think it's a pretty good movie. I think it talks a lot about the sexes back in the day, especially when that was filmed. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it.
It's a good one.
Thanks for your input, Adam. Yeah,
it's an overlooked one.
Sorry, I just spent myself on my rant about Love Actually. I had to zone out and recharge my battery for 2 seconds.
Yeah, drink a whole White Claw and
listen. I'm still angry about Andrew Lincoln. Okay. Fucking Rick Grimes over there hitting on his best friend's wife.
Don't tell me you believed his American accent, because that was 100% bad in Walking Dead.
It was bad. It was terrible.
Drinking White Claw, waiting for someone to walk into the bar and sweep him off his feet.
Peach White Claw.
It's he's covering it up with Mulvaney.
That's just the
Dylan Mulvaney over there. show off your Dylan Mulvaney there.
What? What the fuck are you talking about?
Show off your Dylan Mulvaney.
We'll explain it to you later. Rick, what's your rom-com favorite?
Oh my God. Okay. You guys start.
We've already gone through 2. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys already started earlier with
10 things I hate about you. Or no,
not 10 things I hate about you.
Okay. There's a 10 in there
10
somewhere.
10 things I hate about you? You want to try that one too?
It's been a while since I've seen that one. I'm going to have to replay it in my head while we talk about how to lose a guy in 10 days.
3 times a year for my whole life.
Yeah. No, that's a great one.
How to lose a guy in 10 days.
Okay, how to lose a guy in 10 days. Let's talk about how to lose a guy in 10 days.
I know how to do it. I'm really good at it.
Yeah, tell the story.
I'm sure you're really good at it, but
yeah, I am. I about 4 weeks is where I go. Well, Rick, do you want to explain? I know you're really good at explaining things.
No, I wanted them to tell me what they didn't like about it.
How to lose a guy in 10 days, all right? I'm going to tell you about how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Jesus Christ, just fucking do it.
You've got Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. And basically, both of them have made bets to basically make each other's lives the worst things in the world, okay?
That's not even the right story, but
okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Kate Hudson works for a magazine, okay? Yeah. And she does like how to get out of a parking ticket, and she's there like trying to convince a cop to showing off her tits and shit, telling how to get out of a parking ticket. Yeah, you're marking that. And and then
What's wrong with that? Why are you marking
That's
it?
how I had to
Leave
see
it
it
in.
go.
and then Catherine Hahn's in it, and Catherine Hahn's like, I can't keep a guy, and then they're trying to figure out, what news they need to do, and then they're like, you're gonna do one on Catherine Hahn, and they're like, who's gonna do one on Catherine Hahn? And Kate Hudson's like, I'll do it. And they're like, what are you gonna do? And like, how to lose a guy in 5 days? And she's like, how to lose a guy in 10 days? Like, why 10 days? Because 11 days is the awards show or whatever it is. And then you got all right. And he wasn't like as
Cut to
big.
McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. He wasn't as big, he was pretty big, but he was still pretty young. But he was older than Kate Hudson. But Kate Hudson was really cute. You know what I mean? And but he had to like make a girl fall in love with him, and he had to make his boss convinced of it. For whatever reason, I forget exactly why, but he was
because he was trying to get the account. He was trying to get the jewelry account.
Yeah, and he was in marketing. Yeah, because he wanted to be like the guy, and they didn't want him. Because he wanted the girls to do it, and he's like, I want to do it. And he's pouring water and shit, and he's like, I'm the guy. Look how confident I am. And
he makes a bet to do it. So he makes a bet to basically pretend
I'm gonna get a girl to fall in love with me.
Yeah.
And then so they happen to go to this. Oh, so he meets them there. They make a bet, and Kay Hudson happens to go to find the guy to break up with her in 10 days, and they find each other. And it was embarrassing because she was hitting on a guy that was married. And that was the whole thing. And so they leave, and it was really adorable because they seem like they get along. They seem like they seem like a good fit, and you're like, oh man, I hope these guys work out. But then she remembers, oh God, I gotta make him hate me. So she buys like a relationship plant, and she gets like a little dog, and it pees on the pool table and the card table and shit. And then she interrupts when he's playing cards, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And then he gets to the point where they're at the show, right? Yeah, they're at the show where like it's all supposed to happen. And then the boss, Matthew McConaughey's boss, comes up and is like, so you love him, right? And she's like, no, I don't. And then he's like, ha, 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 ha. And she's like, don't tell him, please. And then she goes and sits down, and Matthew McConaughey's friends go, because the girls that, I'm getting things confused. Anyways, Matthew McConaughey's friends tell, I'm getting lost in the woods. Anyways, everybody knows everything now, and it all gets screwed up. That's the end. Okay, never mind. Everybody's getting bored.
I wasn't bored.
Okay. Anyways, I got lost somewhere in there.
All right. But again, it's two people who are basically torturing each other through the whole movie and then somehow end up together at the end.
Well, that's the only problem I have with the movie, if I can say so, though. When they get together at the end, they're like on this bridge when there's construction going on. And then they're like, can you please pull over? Because Matthew McConaughey is on a motorcycle and he's driving in the middle of the intersection. He's like, I'll do anything, because he's driving from cab to cab trying to find her and looking at all the cabs, and he happens to find her in the middle of New York and knows the exact route and blah, blah, blah of these cabs and everything, and happens to find her. And then she's like, fine, I'll pull over. And then he goes over 2 lanes in the middle of this bridge in the construction. Like, it's just very awkward. And then she gets out of the cab in the middle of this construction zone, which doesn't seem legal at all. Like, this cab driver would do that. And then he's like, you just take her luggage back to her house. She's riding with me. Like, he's just going to, like, back up now, turn around, and just hang out there for a while waiting for you. Like, it just, like, was an awkward ending. And it was, like, 10 seconds long, rushed. And it was just very unsatisfying.
So, monsters. Yeah. Kind of, a little bit.
Okay, but it was
Pieces
like,
of
that was
shit
back in
that
my
are
early.
doing everything they're doing in the movie for money / contract.
Yeah, but then they fall in love, so it's okay.
Well,
Yeah,
here's a fun tidbit. Well,
There's no point in this world where people are going to do the worst things imaginable to each other and fall in love. That is not how the world works. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, but sometimes it can happen.
No. The
Well-
world didn't work like that.
yeah. Well, here's
I don't know
again.
what that means. I don't think that's the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, here's
it's like,
No, it's not.
you're
point
not
of the
watching
movie-
a superhero movie and
No.
thinking, well, you know what I mean? Like,
If I'm watching a
It's-
superhero movie, I can suspend my disbelief. If I am watching a movie
Agreed.
with
It's-
2
you're kind
mid-level,
of when you're watching a romance movie, you're looking at it through the power of love.
no,
I'm sorry, but you
if I'm
are.
watching a movie with 2 middlingly
You're
good
looking at it through
actors,
Cupid's arrow. You know what I mean?
no, I have
If
no
I'm
idea
watching a
what you mean.
rom-com, I know it's not happening. That's not real life. I'm
Yeah.
watching it to zone out and to think like I know. I'm going to bring it back to
It's-
Twilight. Like,
it's
I know, like,
pretend.
that's not real.
It's
Like-
pretend.
There's no sparkly vampires out there, but I'm going to, like, get lost
Well,
in it.
that's just stupid, though. There's a difference, like suspending belief in something being stupid. Like,
that's not one of your
Right.
rom-coms, is it, Steph?
but
No, Kim and I were talking about Twilight
but
yesterday. so
I'm sorry, I made you feel bad there. I'm sorry. It's cool. I am not going to ruin your nerdom. You know what? That's awesome.
It's
that
a
you're
horrible
nerd
movie.
about
No,
Twilight.
it's a horrible movie.
It's
I'm
really
not.
bad.
It's a horrible movie. It was a horrible
No,
book, but
I welcome people that are nerds of anything. If you want to be a nerd of fucking Twilight, you be a fucking nerd of Twilight.
No,
Who the
like-
hell am I to tell you
Hashtag
That's
Team
not what I'm gonna
Blade.
claim.
that's stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Blade.
I mean, okay, so like I don't really know much about the Twilight movies. I've seen pieces here and there, but I do know that the werewolf falls in love with a baby.
Yeah, it's this whole thing. Like, before she was born, it's this whole imprinted thing. It was all it's trash. The ending of the book was trash.
He tears open her stomach with his tooth,
Yeah, it's all trash.
and then he
There's-
falls in love with the baby, and he's imprinted on her.
Yes. And
So
then there's like
he's
a whole battle
attracted
scene that
to the
turns out
baby.
to be a dream.
That was the
Spoiler
same
alert.
one that loved the mom.
Yeah,
So
it's all trash. Don't watch
Yeah.
it.
So this werewolf picks up this baby and he's like holding it like, I'm gonna fuck this baby. Like
No, because then it's like a protection thing. But as they get older, then yeah, he's like, I'm gonna fuck the baby. But as an adult.
yeah, I don't know. That stuff's way too weird for me.
But like, that's no different from Stephen King bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
had
his stuff's
children game bangs and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to
So-
get weird, like another series that turned into like really bad movies, 50 Shades of Grey, and they're releasing another one. Like, that's all trash too.
I've
never
seen sections
watched
of that
any them.
movie.
I read the books. Like, it was unfortunately.
I've seen clips of that movie.
I saw Phyllis in the office reading it.
All right, Steph, why don't you give us your pick?
Well,
I didn't even get to give my opinion.
Oh, I thought you did.
Oh,
No, I explained it.
Nowhere in there was an opinion?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. We're not done with How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Rick, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Give us your opinion.
I thought Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, it was hard for me to hate them. I thought they were both adorable. I saw so much Goldie Hawn in Kate Hudson. And Goldie Hawn is such a national treasure. But Kate Hudson was just, like, for me as a 40-year-old, seeing a 20-year-old Kate Hudson, like, I'm just seeing this little girl, and it's like, just seeing this little sweetheart to me. Like, it's like seeing a baby, and it's like, I want to see her happy. It's just me as a father, I guess. And then Matthew McConaughey, he just seems like a young, successful, strapping young man. And so I just feel like I'm an old man just like wanting to see these two young people that are successful and kind of have their shit together, stop acting like fools and be together. And that's what I saw. I was like, you're just being fools. Come on, people. And at the end, I was just kind of disappointed that it was just kind of a stupid ending.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I love Goldie Hawn, and she's coming up soon here in our conversation.
Yes, mad about that, Adam.
Yeah, listen, I love Goldie Hawn, and comparing anybody to Goldie Hawn is sacrilege because she is the greatest.
She is.
I love her. I loved her in The Christmas Chronicles 2, which was not even that good of a movie. But I love Goldie Hawn. It's not.
You shut your
mouth.
The
first one was entertaining. The second one was stupid. Whatever. Fucking Belschnickel.
I will eat your testicles.
Do you know how many clips I've had to mark in this thing? All right, Steph, give us your pick. You can pick anyone. You can pick mine. I don't care.
No, I won't steal yours. I'll just piggyback.
Real quick.
Oh, wait, Sam's got it.
I'm waiting for the super cut of all the clips you have to cut out of this.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
So I'm going to go more newer since you took my old one.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite movies that our sister actually got me in on was The Holidate. I went into it thinking this movie is going to be trash. It's going to be a Netflix movie, whatever. But I fell in love with it. First of all, I thought that the main guy, Jackson, was a Hemsworth up until a couple months ago.
He's a handsome man.
He is. He looks like a Hemsworth, and he's got an Australian accent. So right there, I was like, that just makes sense. He's not. He's not. But I thought it was just really well done. A, it's set in Chicago, which I love because I knew where they were when they put it on the map, so I got excited about that. B, like, it's just relatable for me being single. And
just say I got really excited because I know where Chicago's at. I got really excited about that because I know where Chicago's at.
No, like on the map.
Miss geography over here.
I know where it's at on the map. It's right there.
No, on the map.
It's
she's
in one of my
Logan
favorite states.
Square. There's 52
They
states.
showed the map in the movie.
I think that I can't tell if she's serious about 52 states.
No, they showed the map in the movie because I rewound it and paused it to see the map too, to see what they were doing.
And it said Logan Square, which I'm really close to. So I got excited.
I rewound to see what they were doing because they went to Evanston.
It was the way it's the way you said it, though. You're like, and they were in Chicago, and I know where that's at.
No, because I know what she meant because I watched it the other day.
Thank you. But because I love a good hometown setting, so I love that. And it's just relatable, right? I'm single. I'm in my upper 30s. And I was, don't
Not
say
for
anything,
long.
Adam. Yeah, I know. Shut up. But it's like she's single. Her mom's going after her, being like, when are you going to get married? You need to dress up or you're never going to find a man. And like, I go out of my house in like sweats and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But
And
like that whole like mom.
You're single?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange. Weird. We'll have to investigate that later.
Interesting.
I don't
But
know.
hey, Steph's single.
Yeah. So anyway,
Any of our
So-
listeners,
Somebody's going to follow that. She was like, because you got to
Hashtag-
dress up or you're never going to find a man. But I go out of my house in sweats.
yeah. Well, that's like what they say in the movie. But anyway, so it's like this whole thing, you know, and then she goes and her aunt, Kristen Chenoweth, love her, one of my favorite actresses, amazing singer. You know, she's just going on these holidays. She just finds a guy for a holiday and brings them, so everybody leaves her alone. And Kim was like, "That's going to be you. You're just going to find somebody to bring to a holiday, so the family leaves you alone." Still hasn't happened. But like, I love the realistic part. Like, Emma Roberts and not the Hemsworth. Like, they just have a great dynamic together and they play off of each other. And the part that also got me, like, when they had sex for the first time after she shit her pants at a Halloween party, probably my favorite scene, is that he turns over and he tries to make out with her and she's like, I don't want to be one of those people in the morning at a movie, like we've been sleeping all night and you try to make out with me. That's disgusting. I'm like, see, that's relatable. Like, I know that's so stupid, but I love that it's a very relatable movie. It's set in today's world. And I don't know. I'm a huge fan. Yes, they end up together in the end. They don't really do anything super shitty to each other, except when they both decide that they have commitment issues and then get back together, but that's fine. But like, I don't know.
It
I'm a
is
fan.
one of the few exceptions to that. Luke Bracey, by the way, is his name.
Sure.
Not a Hemsworth.
Luke
Definitely
Bracey
not.
Jackson.
Jackson.
No, Jackson is his name in the movie.
Yeah, but
His name is just Luke
that
Bracey.
would be his that would be his porn name.
Luke Bracey Jackson in The Holidate.
But like, it's good. Like, as somebody, again, who's not married, like, I relate to everything that was going on in that movie where people are always like, you should do this, you should do this. And it's like, just let me live my fucking life. All right.
I thought the movie was pretty decent for the most part. I did not like her aunt. It was kind of weird. Well, she like stole her date, but
They
But,
weren't gonna end up
like,
together.
but like there's two things. There's the trope of like she was just like the miserable single woman and she like put out her cigarette on the Christmas decoration in the beginning and you know what I mean? Like she just doesn't give a shit about anything. Like that seems to be like a trope in a lot of like single woman movies. Sweet D, you know what I mean? Like,
Love Sweet
it's like, does she has to be like this miserable woman? Because it didn't seem like she had to be that way in this movie. And then the end, it seems like, and I've made a note of this watching all these rom-coms. Seems like there's always got to be a public scene at the end.
Mhm.
Yes, and I
And-
did hate that.
And in this one, it was like forced. She just trying to get his attention while he's walking away in the mall, jumps up on Santa's chair and is yelling, Jackson. And then the choir yells, Jackson! She turns around and goes, what? And then somebody randomly hands her a microphone. And she goes, oh, what's going on? And it's like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And then she's doing this whole speech on a microphone all of a sudden. And I'm like, that just ruined everything. And that's like the difference between this is fantasy and this is suspension of belief to me. That's way too far out of left field. That is completely forced to me.
Called
So-
suspension of disbelief.
That's what I
So-
said.
Hold on. I'm going to come back to the holiday, but something Rick said triggered another one in my mind. Never Been Kissed. Another terrible movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
She's.
Oh
I'm
my
just going to keep this.
gosh, The
gonna keep-
premise is terrible.
I'm going to keep
Painful.
this. I'm going to keep my complaints about this one short. She's a 24-year-old who is dating a 16-year-old and then gets into a love affair with her teacher who thinks she's a 16-year-old, and we can just leave it at that. Bad movie.
I mean, who hasn't banged their teacher?
Uh,
I'm kidding.
Anybody with
I
self-respect. I don't know.
tried to get with a teacher once. Like I was in college.
And he
I was
said
trying
no.
to get with a high school teacher once, the local high school teacher, but she also apparently got with a guy that I was in college with while he was in high school. So then I backed off and I was like, no, thank you.
Fair enough. Nice story.
all right, don't forget to mark that.
Why would you mark that?
No,
Because we
so
want to save it for later.
what? Like probably for me the most interesting thing about the holiday is the weird, like, Emma Roberts came out of nowhere. She's Eric Roberts' daughter, and
She's Julia Roberts' niece.
yeah, and Eric Roberts' daughter, and like she came out of nowhere. It felt like for a while she was just being pushed to be an actress by, like, from every corner. I felt like I was seeing her everywhere, and it was driving me nuts. I never really felt like she was a fantastic actor. I'm sure she just needs to work at it a little more, get a little more behind her, and she'll be fine. But it felt like she just came out of nowhere with no background other than she has a famous dad and a famous aunt. And that was the weirdest, like, thing that stuck out the most to me about this.
She was good in American Horror Story.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was really good. She played that bitchy character in there, and she played it really well.
I didn't
So-
watch that, so
No.
but
Oh,
if
she was
good
really
in
good.
that.
Yeah.
I'm happy she was good in it because I want to see people do well. I
Yeah.
love when people suck at something and it's on the national stage because it's entertaining. But I hope they do well eventually.
Yeah, I mean, she was good in an American Horror Story. I thought she did a good job. I mean, I watched. I think Coven was probably the one I
Yeah.
remember her from the most. Or she was kind of a psycho, but she was good in that one. And God, I don't even remember the other one she was in.
She
But-
was in the clown one.
Was she?
Yeah,
Was she in the clown one?
she was like the reporter.
In Freak Show. Oh, you're right. She was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now. Freak Show. That was a good one. But no, I really like The Holiday too. I thought that was a funny movie. It was better than I was expecting it to be.
Mhm.
It had the part where she shits herself was kind of a little bit of gross out humor.
I
type
thought
of
it was
thing.
so funny.
It is. I don't know. Like I want my humor to be a little bit more clever than that, but whatever. I get what they're going for. Girl shits her pants. Like, it's funny. I get it. Whatever. It's a Melissa McCarthy joke, but yeah. So in any case, but The Holiday was funny. I did like it. I do laugh when I watch that movie every single time. So I have nothing negative to say about that one. It was fun, and it did kind of break the your traditional rom-com format. It did break it a little bit. It wasn't, I mean, it had the same will they, won't they. It had the public scene at the end, which they all have. But the stuff in between was less of the, like I was mentioning earlier, like the torturing each other type of stuff. So it did break that format, and it seemed like two people who were genuinely having fun with each other and had an understanding. So I like that movie. I have nothing negative to really say about it.
Thank you.
I'll let you have that one.
Okay.
All right, my turn. Okay, so I have 3 picks, and I'm having a hard time because they're all fantastic movies. I am going with The Wedding Singer, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I absolutely love The Wedding Singer. It's a movie that I could watch over and over again, never get tired of. It is one of Adam Sandler's best movies that he's ever made. Everything in there is just, it comes together so well. Him and Drew Barrymore have always had chemistry on set from any of the movies that they've done. I really like 50 First Dates. Blended was a good one too. But The Wedding Singer was just, it's in a class of its own. it is a rom-com. Like, you know, some people put it more in just like the regular comedy, but like it is a rom-com. It presents the will they, won't they. There is a public scene at the end, and it has Billy Idol in that public scene.
It does a Billy Idol.
Which just makes it
Bowie,
even
better.
Well, it just makes it so amazing, and like the whole story takes place in the 80s, and I love the 80s. And then the song he sings her at the end, my dad sang that at my wedding for me and my wife when we were doing the candle lighting ceremony, and we requested him to specifically do that. And that's like how iconic this movie is to me. And it's one, again, it's rewatchable, it's quotable, it's everything that you want from like a good rom-com movie. And like I honestly couldn't think of a movie that was better than that when we're talking about rom-coms.
Somebody kill me, please.
That's a good one,
both
too.
those songs are great. Yeah. I have both those songs on my playlist.
All of the music in there was great.
I mean, Adam Sandler has always been always been like a great songwriter to have on my list. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, Piece of Shit Car, Sloppy Joe,
Sloppy Joe,
yeah, Lunch Lady Land, yeah. So, but I love the Boy George. There's so many. Yeah, there's so many great parts to that. And Drew Barrymore was absolutely perfect in that too. She was. She
can be hit or miss for me in a lot of things, but in that movie, stellar.
Yeah, she really is hit or miss for me. But yeah, she was the right casting for that role.
Yeah, 100%. And she is like that too. And I've remember watching her in Firestarter when I was a kid. She's frightening to me. But that movie made me love her, though, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
E.T. too, but
it's a cut of its own. And you know, like again, going back to the quotability of it and so many great scenes, you know, you have your rapping granny, you
hip hop,
hippie, the hip it to the hip into the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' with the bang bang book. Yeah, I know that song. Anyways, point is that there's great stuff in there. You know, the whole thing where his ex fiance comes up to him and it's like, I was like, I don't know if I could go through with it, and he just looks at her and goes, again, that would have been information I'd like to know yesterday. That's just. Every time, like anytime somebody says something that's just like way after the fact, that's a great line to use anytime.
Yeah, I quote that movie all the time purely from that quote.
Yeah, go have a couple of drinks and drive home.
And who was the other?
What's his name's in it too?
Who was the other wedding singer?
Yeah. John Lovitz.
John Lovitz in it.
Yeah.
Because I still go off of his version of the song from that movie.
That is a good one. And okay, so fun thing. Like we watched the Goldbergs not too long ago. There's an episode where, so the Goldbergs is produced by Happy Madison Productions.
Oh, is it?
It is, and there's
Maybe
an
I should
episode.
watch it then.
Yeah, there's an episode where the older daughter, she's getting married. She's about to get married, and they're interviewing wedding singers, and they actually do that scene from the wedding singer, and John Lovitz comes on the show. So basically, that scene after John Lovitz leaves the stage is when Beverly Goldberg talks to him, and she's chatting with him about coming to be the wedding singer at her daughter's wedding, and he's in that same character. Basically, the whole scene in the Wedding Singer has just happened, and it was amazing. And they actually, the whole episode had callbacks to the Wedding Singer, to the point where at the end they're on a plane, and so like the daughter's on a plane with her fiance. They're trying to fly out somewhere, and all of a sudden, Robbie Adam Sandler, starts singing the song because they're on the same fucking plane. It's that episode was just fucking classic for me. And if there's a reason to watch the Goldbergs, it's just to see that one episode.
You have to shoot me what episode that is. I'll have to check it out. Christine Taylor was in that too.
Yep.
Absolutely always had a crush on her.
Yeah.
Alexis Arquette, she's the one that played George.
Mm-hmm.
That person was hilarious. They're playing singing Boy George over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And this was peak Sandler. This was peak Sandler right now. Like since that movie, everything has been less than in some way, shape, or form. They've been good movies, but they've been less than The Wedding Singer. So, but that's probably my top pick.
Yeah, because Adam Sandler, like those movies, like, okay, what was it? Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Wedding Singer, what else? Waterboy. And then like it went downhill, but like Little Nicky was like a step below.
Yeah.
And then he did the one with the son. What was the
Big Daddy.
Yeah. Big Daddy. But
Big
that
Daddy
was more serious.
What was the other one with Adam Sandberg?
With Andy Samberg?
Yeah, that one.
I don't know. Was that recent?
No.
But like those four movies were like, those were like classic movies. It's like I gotta watch them every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All those other movies after that, it's like take them or leave them. Everything past Little Nicky, like I will watch Little Nicky, but I could take it or leave it after that. Like with that beyond.
So,
I mean, we've mentioned it already, but 8 Crazy Nights was honestly really good. Me knowing nothing about the Jewish faith, it was honestly really good. And I've got to give a special mention to Click.
Yes, that is a good one.
Ooh, I cried.
Yeah, I cried.
Yeah.
I actually take it back. I actually have a special place in my heart for Punch Drunk Love.
That was a good one. It was different.
That movie, it wasn't a comedy, but when he flips out and beats the shit out of those guys in the parking lot, that makes the hair stand up in the back of my neck. Like that's like I can feel that.
For what he does for his friends in movies, because he's always bringing his friends into movies. He's always giving them parts, making sure that they're going to get paid. There's no better person in Hollywood to me than him. Like,
no, I've heard
takes
great things
care
about
of his
him.
friends. Yeah, what was the woman that was married to Tom Cruise that was trying to leave the church?
Nicole Kidman?
No.
Katie Holmes.
The only reason Katie Holmes was in that movie with him was so she could get the time away to talk to a divorce attorney.
Didn't know that.
Like that, she had no other reason to be in that movie. She was in the movie for all of 10 minutes, but she had so many days where she was supposed to be on set that was literally so she could talk to the divorce attorney to get away from Tom Cruise and get away from that church.
Like you can't outrun Tom Cruise.
Episode.
That guy, he takes care of people, and
he does.
I've got all the respect in the world for him. Like I don't care if his movies are good, bad, or terrible. I've got respect for him because he takes care of his friends and he takes care of the people that he knows are going to take care of him. And even if they don't have any means of doing so, he's going to take care of you.
Well, so, and sorry, go ahead.
One of the best people in Hollywood. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, and last thing I'll say about Adam Sandler is I was looking up his IMDb just now, and his next part after The Wedding Singer was playing Satan in Dirty Work. And I forgot he was in that movie. I forgot he was in that movie. He's uncredited, but you couldn't miss him. And that's such a goddamn funny movie. I completely forgot he was in there when they eat the brownies.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Okay. But yeah, I think we've said all we can really say about that. I'm sure we'll talk about Adam Sandler in the future, but I love The Wedding Singer.
A lot more about Adam Sandler.
And we will bring him back up in the future, but The Wedding Singer is absolutely amazing.
I could say
So
a lot
we might
more
just have to
about
do a
Billy
whole night
Idol,
about.
too.
Yeah, we might just have to do a night about Adam Sandler movies.
I'm down. Yeah, let's do it.
That sounds like a good one. Actually, I'm looking forward to that. Sam, you're up.
All right. So I'm going to go with for rom-com, Falling for Christmas. I think that's the name of it. Let me just be sure. Yeah, Falling for Christmas.
You might be on your own with this one. I've never seen it.
Me neither.
Okay. So it's a movie I hate to give money by watching it. It's Lindsay Lohan, and it's Lindsay Lohan in the last 5 years. And the movie is absolutely horrible. It is one of the worst acted movies I have ever seen. I've watched so many B movies and C movies on Amazon Prime, but this movie takes the cake. She's like a trust fund baby. She's dating this like influencer, and she falls while she's skiing, and then ends up getting saved by this guy that's struggling to keep his ski lodge afloat. The movie is terrible. I can't recommend people watch it, but it is one of the funniest romance movies I've ever seen because it is so damn bad. I watch it at least twice every Christmas season. It's terrible. Like, I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than the acting is terrible. She does a terrible job in her role. There's not one redeeming quality about this movie, but it is so damn funny, and it's supposed to be a romance movie. And I think they added comedy on in the last like year or two because it's just so bad.
Well, I think Lindsay Lohan just got spit taked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sell the movie for me at all. I don't think I'm still going to watch it, but
watch it once and
I'll watch it
ready.
once.
Just be ready.
I'm going to watch it.
Be ready with some broccoli or some beer or whatever you got. I mean,
and make a stew out of it.
Onto it. And yeah, just watch it and just be ready for a terrible fucking movie. It's horrible.
You're really selling it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll watch it once, maybe 3 times.
Honestly, if you like movies, if you care about movies, watch it to make you care about the movies that you like so much more.
It's like a palate cleanser. It's a palate cleanser. You're
not.
like you watch a movie, you're like, I don't know how I feel about that. Then you watch this one and you're like, oh, that other movie was pretty good.
Yeah, that was an Emmy Award winner. Golden Globes, something.
Oh my God.
Looks like a stomach cleanser.
I don't know. I'm watching the trailer right now and it looks bad. It looks pretty bad.
It is.
Is anything exploding?
No, nothing's exploding.
Oh, that's terrible.
I don't know. She's getting clothes from this guy. He must be the lodge owner. Oh, she just knocked some skis down. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. No,
she look. You know what though? Older
skis fell down. Well, I'm in.
Yeah. You know what? Older Lindsay Lohan kind of looks like Felicia Day.
Huh. But she doesn't have the overbite.
No. Weird. Okay. Anyways. All right, Rick, you want to go next?
If I could stop coughing, yes.
All right.
Where is the thing at? Apparently, the next one I am going with is a little film called Splash. It has such actors as Tom Hanks, John Candy, which is the greatest actor of all time, Daryl Hannah, and Eugene Levy. And I gotta tell you, this is a childhood favorite of mine. So it starts out Tom Hanks and John Candy. Well, they're not there, but it's them as kids, and they're out to sea. And John Candy is dropping coins, and he's looking up women's skirts and stuff. You know, it's a little trick he learned. And Tom Hanks, he falls over the side of the boat, and he sees a little girl in the ocean, and then the people in the boat save him and pull him up. In the future, a lot of things happen. Him and his brother run some kind of fish shipping thing, but he ends up on a canal. I forget what the canal's called, but he ends up in the ocean, and the girl that saw him when he was a kid saves him, and it's a mermaid, and it's Daryl Hannah, and but it's a naked woman, and who doesn't want a naked blonde woman? And so anyways, that's what this movie's about, is this naked blonde woman and Tom Hanks. It's Daryl Hannah, and she's literally a fish out of water. And she wants to make out with Tom Hanks all the time. But she's got to go back to the ocean in 6 days. And like Eugene Levy wants to prove that it's a mermaid. And Tom Hanks wants her to stay there, but she's got to go back to the ocean. And then, some ET shit happens where the lab of the U.S. government get her, but it's okay. She ends up back in the ocean, but she gets Tom Hanks with her. And it leads me to believe that Tom Hanks gains mermaid powers and lives underwater with her now, from now on. But this is one of my favorite 80s movies. If anybody knows me, I'm just a big fan of the 80s. 80s had personality. 80s had personality. It taught you to be an individual like no other decade ever has. And John Candy is one of the greatest actors of all, is the greatest actor of all time to me. And like anywhere else, he was just an individual putting on the greatest show on earth to me here. Tom Hanks, top form here. Daryl Hannah, beautiful as ever. Long, beautiful blonde hair. Tom Hanks is freaking, I don't know. It's like a man's dream here. It's like, oh, this beautiful blonde girl just shows up out of nowhere and wants to be with me. And he's just confused. She wants to leave me now. But it is a little weird, though, at the same time, watching it years later from when you're a confused little kid, 6 years old in the 80s, looking at this beautiful blonde girl naked. But it still brings back a nostalgia feeling for me, really. That's pretty much what it is, but I still have the same burning questions about what's going on with Tom Hanks and her swimming underwater. Is he living with her in a business suit now?
Why is her
what's
name
going
Daryl?
on?
That sounds like an old black.
I don't know.
Well,
but she's married to Neil Young now. That's weird.
Well, and I really enjoy Splash too, and this was definitely one that put Tom Hanks on the map. So it's classic. I think
Splash
without
2?
Splash, we. Huh?
Yes. He did
Stop
it. He
Stop
did
it.
it. It's my Chicago accent.
Yeah. So, anyways,
we're gonna get a button where that's just gonna pop up every time he does it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I like Splash. That is a good one. Tom Hanks again. This was the movie that kind of put him on the map early. And there's not much to say about it. It was a great fantasy. It was a great rom-com. It was a little bit of everything. And Tom Hanks falling in love with a mermaid. Like, what else can you say about it? That was just classic 80s movie. You don't see that kind of movie anymore. Or if you do, it's some kind of sappy thing and it's not good. But
I wish they wouldn't have made a TV show out of Turner and Hooch. Like that's 80s Tom Hanks to me. Just Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, absolutely. Steph, you like Splash?
I love Splash. Daryl Hannah, obviously, I think that she's gorgeous. And that long blonde hair, you're right, got me too. Clearly, I'm modeling my hair after her. But I also became obsessed with mermaids. And because of her and I hated Eugene Levy coming in and trying to do science on her and trying to figure the whole thing out. And it just like it hit all the right spots, like the happy, the sad, like the wanting. Like I think it really touched on all the feels. And I agree. Like I think Splash is an amazing movie. I watched it recently and I forgot how much I actually loved it. Cause you sometimes go back and you watch these movies and you're like, oh my God, that was actually pretty awful. How could I love this? And I did not feel that about this movie at all.
Yeah. Splash was a good one. And then I would say the next, pun not intended here, but the next good one that he really did was Big. I think there's a few others in between there, but Big was probably one of the best movies he also did. So,
and I watched that recently. Really holds up, man.
It does,
except for the whole, the banging the older woman.
I was gonna say, as much as I don't like saying this shit, like that movie's problematic.
It is. Yeah. There's like a whole thing where she was that older lady.
I guess when I say it holds up, I mean I still enjoy it.
Yeah, well, of course, we all enjoy it, but yeah, I mean the lady that he's banging at the at the toy company and everything, she's the last person to be seen with him, and then he just disappears off the face of the earth. Like she's gonna have some questions that she's gonna need to answer.
Yeah, but there was a lot of questions in that movie, like why is this kid able to just run around New York when his next door neighbor is kidnapped? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, and he shows up at his house and tells his parents that he knows all this information about their kid and their kid's missing. Like, that's definitely worth an investigation there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of questions in that movie going on, and it seems like you don't see one police officer.
No, but Splash was good.
But when I say Big was a good movie, if you just ignore
it's enjoyable.
If you ignore the big stuff, if you just watch them dancing on the piano, you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, cool. I think this would be a good segue into your other pick.
Oh,
I picked originally, but
okay.
It's cool.
You know what? Let's just share that one.
Yeah, I've got it's cool. I mean, I'll start it if you want.
Go ahead, jump into it. Let's go.
All right. So another great 80s movie is Overboard. And when I was discussing this with Adam, I had put it down and then he brings it up in our little pre-talk. And I was like, you motherfucker, that was my choice. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, like an iconic actual Hollywood couple. And they did it right. Like they're not married, right? They're just life partners. And they've lasted longer than everybody else. And I love them. I think I also fell in love with it because Goldie Hawn is like this like rich bitch on a yacht, which is like a dream, of course. And granted, she falls over and gets amnesia. But like Kurt Russell is here comes that vindictive part, Adam, where he's doing bad things and he's making her like take care of his 5 kids or whatever that are rambunctious and he's poor and all this stuff. But they end up falling in love and she falls in love with him for who he is. And my favorite part is going to be the end when she's like, it's my fucking money.
It is such a great movie. I love that one. I could easily ruin this movie too. And I had to think about it if I could put this on my list with my earlier rant, but it is such a fun movie to watch. And Kurt Russell does take advantage of a woman who loses her memory and basically turns her into an unknowing slave. But at the same time, like the movie is also kind of I guess you can kind of call it a redemption arc for her because she was a terrible person before she got the amnesia, and it kind of taught her how to be like part of the working class and everything and what they go through to a point where she's enjoying it seems like she's enjoying her life more being a mother and a wife than she is being a rich bitch on a yacht. And Kurt Russell is somebody who can do no wrong. He is in some of my favorite movies, and Overboard just has like that element to it. And it shows him starting his own business, which is a mini golf place. and living his dream, and just like, him being a good dad and working hard. He's working overnights too at this whatever, it was, a fish farm or something. But he's like doing, they were genuinely, for the most part, good people, at least by the end of it, with this slight indiscretion of him manipulating somebody who lost their memory. But
I will say, being in real estate, like looking at that house was not cheap. You had a lot of land on there, and it was pretty well built, if I'm remembering correctly. So,
but the kid's falling in love with with the mom and not wanting her to leave and everything. Well, not the mom, but the pseudo mom. That movie did have a lot of heart in it, and they did remake it in 2018 with Anna Faris.
Not good.
I didn't see it.
It was horrible
because they gender swapped it, and I know that they did that because now it would these days it would raise kind of a stink if a guy was doing that to a girl. So I know they changed it for that reason, and I decided not to watch it. I love Anna Faris, but I just did not see that movie being good at all.
No, I don't even think I saw the end of it, honestly, because it was that bad.
It looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the original from it was the 80s, I believe, was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Goldie Hawn in that movie was one of the funniest women I have ever seen. She was such a great action comic in that movie. And I don't know, I just really liked her. And regardless of the story or whatever you want to say about it, I just think Goldie Hawn is a national treasure for her performance. I crack up when I watch her in this movie, and I do love this movie for her. She is one of my favorite actresses of all time. When I talk about actresses, I put her up there as, one of my top 5-10 actresses.
Yeah.
And this movie is one of those reasons why.
Yeah, this movie and Private Benjamin, two great 80s movies that she was in. But I don't know what else to really say about Overboard. If you're somebody who has not seen this and you don't know what we're talking about, definitely go watch this movie. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic rom-com. Back in, I would say this was like the 80s was like the golden age of rom-coms. They were pretty much all good at that point.
Yeah, but you got to keep it in your mind too. Like the 80s were a different time, so the things that people are concerned about now, they weren't concerned about then. So like back then, this was like an innocent movie. Like you said.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
The 80s are the best time in all movies. I'm just going to be honest with that. You can fight me on whatever you want, but you talk sci-fi, fantasy, rom-coms, teen movies, whatever. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
The late 70s all the way through the 80s.
Yeah, the turn in the late 70s to early 80s is when movies started getting more money to do things. So you actually had special effects coming into the movies at that point. And that did change a lot of what we were seeing in movies. Before that, it was, Rosebud, whatchamacallit. Damn, I can't think of the name. But
Citizen Kane.
Rosebud, Citizen Kane, same thing. But you had a lot of that stuff, which was, more or less tricks of the camera. You had the ghost showing up on the glass in the mirror. Mm-hmm. But in the 80s, you actually had money going towards it where people could start actually figuring things out to make it more entertaining, make it more interesting. So there's some great movies coming out of the 80s. And I know we all love that, but it's only gotten better since. But the writing's gotten worse.
Yeah. Special effects have gotten better. Writing has decreased.
Yeah.
When you look at...
I'm not saying special effects for sure. I think the imagination was
The
better
originality.
in the 80s. Yeah. And definitely the storytelling. But like, you ever see Dark Crystal?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever seen The Labyrinth?
The Labyrinth? Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Wait. Sam has never seen The Labyrinth?
No, we talk
Nope.
about that in our podcast. When it's
I'm
just
sure I
me and
heard it.
Sam, the Sam and Rick podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Oh my god, that is probably one of my top 5 favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the effects are awful, but they're still good for that time.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
No,
you got
I-
David Bowie's Bulge.
Jennifer Connelly, baby.
Yeah, I want to watch it just for David Bowie's bulge.
And David Bowie.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a whole
Dance
weird
magic
thing.
dance.
but no, it was never something that was introduced to me as a kid growing up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, when you look at, when you look at the end, the end of the 70s and going into the 80s, the end of the 70s brought us Alien.
Yeah. And it's hard because it's like 79, you got the Blues Brothers. You know what I mean? You still got
You have
still
Alien
got
in
some lingering
79.
stuff in there.
There was some
I
really
mean-
good stuff that led into what the 80s became and why it became the golden age of movies.
Yeah.
For me, the golden age of movies lasted about 20 years. It was from about 75, 76 to 95.
I could agree
And
with that.
And it ended with Jurassic Park to me.
Yeah. I almost forgot you got fucking whatchamacallit? The Shining too. That's like my favorite horror movie. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and I have a theory about, why
that was
movies
like
started
78, 79 too.
I have a theory about why movies started declining after Jurassic Park, and that was because Jurassic Park opened up Pandora's box of CGI. Because it was the first movie that they did, and this is actually a fascinating fact. Jurassic Park was the first movie that fully incorporated CGI and what it could do, and then after that, it became a runaway train. It opened a Pandora's box, and people just ran with CGI instead.
But the reason Jurassic Park holds up to this day is not for the CGI. The CGI is best when you don't know what's there. The reason Jurassic Park holds up to this day is because of the practical effects. It's the special effects. That T-Rex that you saw, except for the full size of the T-Rex. The one moment you see the full T-Rex is the only time you get CGI. All the rest of the time is practical effects.
Yeah,
And
it
that's why
was.
it holds up.
Yeah, it was a good combination of animatronics and CGI, and then, so they had not originally planned to use CGI for the movie. And it really fascinating on the movies that made us on Netflix. They talk about it, and they basically told them we're just going to do claymation for the movie. And then they ran into this guy who was like, I can make you a full dinosaur. And they were like, we don't need you. And he went and did it anyways and brought it to them and was like, oh, so by the way, this is what a computer can do. And that's when they put it into the movie. Really fascinating stuff. I'm going to probably mark this because we're way off topic from Overboard. But
no, Jurassic Park's more important than Overboard.
Yeah, sure.
I don't really like dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
Steph doesn't believe in dinosaurs.
Goldie Hawn.
Why are you here?
She once told me she didn't believe in dinosaurs, and I still to this day don't know if she was serious or not.
Oh no, I'm serious. I don't believe in dinosaurs. That's a thing.
Dinosaurs are real.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to go into my last pick, and we'll just kind of use this one as the end, unless somebody's got some honorable mentions. But the greatest movie of all time, The Princess Bride.
No.
No,
Yes.
I'm good with this being the last one. Yeah. No, Princess Bride, 100%. Yes, the last one, best of all time.
It is so amazing what this movie did, and Rob Reiner, who was on a run at this point, bringing this movie to life. And it hits all of the best points. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's got love, it's got everything in it. And the story is told so well. And it's just absolutely it's everything you want in a movie. I don't even really know what else to say. It's just such a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I never loved The Princess Bride.
Well,
I
you're
don't.
wrong.
There's something about it. Okay, there's something about it that just like I couldn't get on board, and that is a very unpopular opinion, and I know this, but like I watch it and it just doesn't make me feel anything.
As somebody that has a lot of popular opinions, can you find do you know what it is about the movie that causes you to feel that way? Because for me, I love the narrative aspect where it's grandfather telling his son the story who said, or his grandson the story who said. I love that. I love As You Wish. I love like everything about that movie. My wife Danielle had never even heard of the movie, and I introduced it to her a couple of years ago, and she was like, "No, that is a great movie." So
Yeah.
can you
I don't know.
pinpoint?
It just gives me this weird like ick feeling. I can't put my finger on it. I've just never been like, this is a movie I can watch over and over. I can watch it again. It's like I've had guys that I've dated like be like, let's watch The Princess Bride, thinking like that's gonna get to me, right? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go home now. Thank you.
Could that be why you don't feel it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Even when I was younger though, like I was never really into it.
Well, I mean, just Billy Crystal and Carol Kane, their whole scene is absolutely
that
amazing.
was good. That was funny. I'll give you that.
You know, the dialogue in it is so good. I was reading a quote by it. Yeah, I was reading a quote from The Princess Bride earlier today. You know, that was between Andre the Giant and Carrie Elwes, where Andre the Giant throws the big rock at him, and he's like, I didn't have to miss you, and he's like, oh, so you did that on purpose? He's like, yeah. He's like, why don't we do this like real men? And Carrie Elwes is like, oh, he's like, so we'll throw down our weapons and we'll fist fight to the death like civilized people. And like just the dialogue in there and the delivery is so good. Like it's impossible to dismiss this as anything but a classic and a fantastically written movie.
I think Wesley bothers me.
Carrie Elwes, you're always welcome on the podcast as well.
If you were ever in town, we'd like to buy you dinner.
Andre the Giant, Rip. This one's for you, baby.
I think that in the movie, maybe this is what it is. Wesley, to me, like I know he's supposed to be this badass, but he just seemed like this kind of whiny, narcissistic fucking pussy. I don't know. I was not impressed by him.
Really?
The Dread Pirate Roberts?
I get the opposite feeling from him. I get that he's willing to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, who chases a woman around for that many years?
Someone who's in love.
Well,
yeah, you wouldn't know what that's like.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be jelly.
No, like As You Wish.
As You Wish. Uh-huh. Everything in that movie.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
The rodents of whatever size.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do no wrong with this movie.
It's great. Yeah.
Just like, not my thing.
I hope they never ever try to even remake this movie or suggest it, because I will go apeshit. But
they kind of did, but it was done with a bunch of different actors and just taking parts of the movie and doing it on their own. Like you had Dwight and Dwight from The Office. You had actually Carrie Elwes showed up playing a different role. Chris Pratt did it. A bunch of people jumped in and did it. This was during the height of COVID. But they were just more or less taking scenes and doing a 1.5-minute long scene of the movie. And it was really entertaining. I've watched that for a long time.
I mean, like, again, it's just such a quotable movie and a great one, here, Buttercup saying like, we'll never survive. And Wesley is saying, nonsense. You're only saying that because no one ever has. Like, it's just like, how can you beat this movie? It is the perfect movie. Like, And Inigo Montoya giving that whole speech and like the emotion that's in it. And it's because he was thinking, and it was thinking because he just lost his dad to cancer, and he was like imagining he was saying that to the cancer. I mean, just the emotion that came into that, like the whole movie is the best.
Inigo Montoya, you killed my father.
My father prepared to die. It's just such a fantastic movie. Like you can't beat it. And I've said this like 100 times. I don't know what else to say about it. If you don't know what The Princess Bride is, watch this movie because it'll blow your mind.
I disagree with you bringing it up on this podcast because we were specifically talking about romantic comedies, and this is not a comedy. It is a pure romance.
I don't know. I would put it in romantic comedy. You don't think
it was a comedy?
Yeah, it was definitely a comedy. It's definitely a romantic comedy.
It's been a couple of years since I've watched it.
Pure romance. It is the way romance should be.
No, it is a romantic comedy.
No.
No, that's it. Just no.
Wrong.
No, I don't know.
Incorrect.
American fantasy adventure comedy film.
There you go.
So it's not even romance then, according to that.
Yeah, no, this was a romantic comedy.
But it's called Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I mean, then is Robin Hood Men in Tights a romantic comedy?
That's a parody.
Literally about to bring it up.
But is it a romantic comedy? But it could be a romantic comedy.
It could technically be.
But I'm willing to say
he can't get the chastity belt open. Get the locksmith.
Call the locksmith.
Call the locksmith. Yeah.
No, I'm willing to say the Disney Robin Hood might be a romantic comedy.
Yeah, but you know what, Robin Hood
that might have an effect on the way I feel about foxes nowadays. What?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to say Princess Bride is the best romantic comedy of all time.
No, I'm with you.
I'm not going to argue it. I'll let you have it. It's just not a personal favorite.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we don't have to agree on everything.
No,
we all know Steph doesn't know romance, so
that's But I know where Chicago is, though.
You do know where Chicago is.
On this map of Neptune, I can find Chicago.
Seeing it on the map, it's purple.
my romance ideas are like the real funny, like No Hard Feelings was on my list. I don't know if that's even necessarily a romantic comedy. It's pretty fucked up, but I thought it was funny. But like that's my idea of like a romantic comedy,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, it can be kind of a broad spectrum there. I get what Sam's saying about The Princess Bride, and it's kind of at the end of that spectrum going into romantic or at the other end. I don't know. It's at one of the ends, but because it's not your traditional one, it does have the will they, won't they. It's in there. It does have just all the feels to it. You do hope you're rooting for them to get together and that everything's going to be okay in the end. But I can see where somebody would say that's not a traditional romantic comedy type movie either.
No, it's not. But probably my favorite thing that came out of that movie was the fact that it was a movie presented as a book, where the book came after the movie and is only in an abridged version. And people are trying to find the full version of the book that doesn't exist because it was only presented as an abridged version.
Yeah.
And it's a long-winded explanation to say, hey, the book was created after the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy what you get.
Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps up our rom-coms. Anybody else got one honorable mentions?
I would just say that the best wedding scene in any movie that I've seen for a while was in Crazy Rich Asians. I cry every time I see it. I know Rick watched it the other day. Have you two seen it?
I haven't seen it.
No. I mean, that one, like, but there's like humor leading up to it. Aquafina like really carries the movie as like the comedic humor, and what's that Ken Jeong?
Oh yeah.
He's in there. Like, they're fantastic. It's not so much romantic comedy, but like it's got hints of that. I don't know, Rick. You can elaborate if you want.
I consider it a romantic well, it's definitely emphasis on the Asian. They want to make sure we know everybody's Asian. I like Michelle Yeoh, who plays the mom in this. She's like the call you up for the Asian lady and everything. And she plays the mom in this, and she's so vindictive. She's awesome. And Constance Wu is like the female love interest. And Henry Golding is the male, so she's the son of Michelle Yeoh. And Michelle Yeoh gives this speech about I had to earn my husband's mother's trust and honor. And even after we were married, I didn't have it, and it took years for me to get it. But finally, she gave me this ring, and then she took a step forward, and Constance took a step back down the stairs, and then she went in her face, and she goes, "But I can promise you, you will never have it." And then you like felt that cut right through you. And like the rest of that movie, it got really interesting because it's like you felt awkward the rest of that movie.
I felt awkward as soon as she ended up over in Singapore. I think that's where they were, right? Singapore?
Yeah. That was awkward because everybody was like rude to her.
Yeah.
But she thought she was safe with the family until then.
Yeah, I thought it was just a very well done movie, and like the casting was great, but that wedding scene with the water and oh my god, what's the song? Oh my god, hold on. Falling in Love.
Yeah. They were playing everything in Singaporean or something. I don't know, whatever. You mark that.
Yeah, we'll have to mark that for sure.
I marked it.
No, you marked it? Okay. I'm glad you're marking yourself. No, that song, hold on, I'm looking it up. Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, the first time I watched it, I was just hysterically bawling because it was so pretty. And I'm like, I would love to have that. Now, granted, that wedding was like multi-million-dollar, but you know, neither here nor there. Maybe I can have somebody like squirt me with a squirt gun if I ever walk down the aisle. Similar thing.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was like, for me, it was like, why are they drawing this out so much? But then there was like, well, it made like them two staring at each other, and then the mom was watching them, and it was like, okay, so you saw the mom watching her the whole time, seeing what she was doing. You're thinking, okay, well, she's doing pretty good, right? She's talking to the magazine writer. She seems like she's doing good there. She seems like she's in love with the son. Okay, she's doing good. But then she gets the FBI background check and everything. And it's like, oh no, bam, you got a bad background. We can't have that in this rich family. And then I guess we spoiled a lot of it already, but then Constance is like, doesn't want to make a sacrifice for Henry. And so that was, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, because I work a lot with relationships as a therapist, and I'm like, for me personally, when I'm working with patients, I'm like, you got to set strong boundaries. You got to do what's right for you. You can't do what's right for anybody else. Constance is like, I got to do what's right for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she decides. She doesn't decide to do what's right for herself. And so I'm not going to spoil the very end about what happens, but it's, you know, it's a good movie. I thought it was pretty good. And I thought it gave really good context to the Asian culture too. And I do really love Asian culture. I do want to like take a trip to Japan and stuff because I really do love Asian culture. I love Asian culture. I love Pokemans and stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
That
movie is.
I love that Mongolian beef. Let me tell you.
That movie is on my watch list. I do want to see that one. I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
But no, like it has like all these actors. Like it's all like a all Asian cast, and they're like in all the freaking kung fu movies and all that stuff. And so it's all like all great actors that you've seen and stuff. And some of them are on like sitcoms like what is that? Like Fresh Off the Boat, which I think I've seen an episode or two of. I think Constance Wu, who's she's an attractive girl, who's on that show, is like the main girl in this movie. So you know, there's a lot of people from stuff and they're really good actors. I really enjoyed the cast.
Yeah, the main guy, he was the husband in A Simple Favor.
Oh, okay. I like that movie. That was a good one.
Yeah, great actor all around. So
awesome. I don't have very many complaints about this.
Yeah. No, that is one I want to see, and it seems like that kind of broke the mold a little bit.
And it also has the gay guy from Superstore, the gay Asian guy.
Oh yeah, okay. I know who you're talking about. I've only seen a few episodes, but yeah.
But the one thing I will say was up until that part where the mother got in her face, it was very unfocused. They were trying to introduce me to too many things at once, and it was just all over the place until they focused the story.
Yeah, I will say that you are correct, and that's they had a lot going on and trying to like do too much, but then like it did try to focus back in on the family and like the culture and how it actually is. So I'll go with you on that.
All right, now we're coming to the end of our show, and real quick before we get out of here, we want to address some comments we've had about our previous episode that involved the DC animated movieverse, and we had a write-in from R. Montgomery that said his favorites were his favorite DC animated films were Flashpoint and Under the Red Hood, but he's also a big fan of the Justice League cartoon with Michael Rosenbaum voicing the Flash, and the Teen Titans show before Teen Titans Go-Go. So, and thank you, R. Montgomery, for writing in. We really appreciate you listening to the show. And, maybe one day we can have you on here, talk with us a little bit about some comic books and stuff.
Thank you for listening to Spit Take Podcast. Once again, my name is Sam. We've always got Adam and Rick, and joining us today was a special guest, Steph. You can find us on all of your podcast episodes and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Link to all the places you can find us will be in the episode description.
Level up, guys!
Thanks for having me, guys.